are going to assemble one of our Simply Bee Hive's WBC Supers. And these are all the parts that you get in our kit, as well as the equipment you're going to need to assemble it. So to begin with, we have our ends, which is this bit here. You get 2 of them per box, and then you have your sides, which are here, and you're going to slot them into your ends. And you also have your metal runners, which are going to sit on your sides, which we're going to see how to do that in a minute. And then you have the top bars and your bottom bars. So the top bars are wider and your bottom bars are the thinner ones. We also have 4 battens, which are 16 by 16 mil. These are going to sit inside your box there. So the tools that you're going to need to do this is you're going to start off with a hammer. You're going to have the nails and glue, which we do supply in the kits. So they're just going to come in a little packet like this. And a square to make sure your box is square. And either a good set of calipers or a tape measure for marking on the distances, scissors for glue, and a pencil for marking on. Right, so our first step is going to be marking on our bee space on our ends, so you know where to slot your sides into. So you want either your good set of calipers or your tape measure and pencil, and you need that set at 11.5 mil. So we're just going to go in and mark it along there, along your edge, making sure it's nice and obvious, so that when you come to do it, you sort of see what you're doing. Do it on both sides. Step 1. So step 2 will be then marking our sides. So we're going to do this so you know where your runners are going to sit, because if you sit one way too far, they're going to get in the way of slotting it into your ends. So you want 3 mil, again either on your caliper or the tape measure, and you just want to grab your side and mark that. Both bits. So when you put your runner on, it's going to sit with even gaps. Right, so our next step, you're going to need your top and your bottom bars, and what we're going to do is we're going to get 16 mil and we're going to mark on the edge of these. Basically, what this is allowing you to do is the 16 mil on your end is going to sit either side, and then you're going to be able to put your batten on evenly, and it also makes your box is more square if you're doing it right to begin with. And then I'm just going to go over with the pencil to make sure that's nice and obvious. So our next step, you will need your 4 battens, which are the 16 by 16s. And what we're going to do is we're going to fasten them to our top and bottom bars. And this is just going to make assembly later on a bit easier. But because later on you will be putting your nails to that way, we're going to be fastening them on like that, but flip them over to put your nails in. But before we do that, there's a little packet of glue which I've snipped the corner off. we're just going to run some quickly along the bar. So move them out of the way. And just want it to be flush with the edge inside them lines you've just drawn on. Don't worry about the glue spilling over, we can tidy that up later on. I'm going to put 3 nails in for now, but you can put more in later. This is just to kind of hold it in place. Still making sure it's flush, just there, it's moved a little bit. And the third one. And you're just going to repeat that with all of these bars. So your next step is going to be to fasten our runners on, and we're going to do this now, so when we come to attach our sides to our ends, that reference point we drew on before includes the runners, so to try and do it without the spacing is going to be incorrect. So what we're going to do for now, move this bit out of the way, and take one of your runners, and you're going to line it up to the marks you put on before. So it's got even spacing. But what we're not going to do is hammer our nails right the way through, because we need the rest of the nail to help attach other things later on. And this is just really to help us with our guidelines, so we're just going to do the outside ones as well, rather than all of them. So if we go about 2/3 of the way through, so I put them about 2/3 of the way through for now, and we're just going to do the same on the other one. Now that we've marked everything up, we've attached the runners, we're going to start putting the ends and the sides together. But before we do that, we'll go back in with the glue and just line them both up together for a bit of ease and run it down. Okay, and move this one out of the way for 2 seconds. And we're going to line up our lines from before with the top of the metal runner. Okay, I'm going to do that on both sides. There we go. Double checking that they're right. And again, don't worry about the glue spilling over. Tidy that up later. Same again with this, and I'm just going to turn it around so I can see my lines. Good, tap it. So now we have all our bits together. It can be very wobbly, so if you struggle with this, maybe just put a clamp on it, just to give you a bit of sturdiness to knock your nails in. And since it's super, I'm going to use 3 nails down these bits today, but if you're using a big box, you can put more in because it's a bigger box. And the nails that we're using are the lost head nails, so these are the bigger ones. So the ones we've been using so far are this size, so now on top. Line it up as best as you can, and then off them. would come in handy. Lining that back up. Put the nail in this one. To keep it a bit more stable. Put it on in here. So now what all you're going to do, now you've got all of them nails in, is flip it over and repeat the same process on this side, ready for your next step. Okay, so we're going to put our top bars now on our box. So this is the bigger of the two buttons. So this is our smaller one, which is your bottom bar, and this is our top one. So you're going to put it with this at the bottom, so it sits like that when it goes in, but you're going to want a bit of glue on that beforehand as well. So the bar sits at the bottom, push that in and making sure the top is flush. And then repeat the process of knocking your runners in, making sure you keep your box nice and flush because that's really important. And then using the same small nails again, we're going to put 2 in the ends. Our next step is going to be doing the same again but with our bottom bars. But these are going on a bit different this time because, as before, I flipped the box up the right way to make a bit more sense. Top bars went on like that, but this time we're putting them on like that. So this bit is at the top and not the bottom. If that makes sense, I'm going to show you there. So it should slide on like that with your 16mm batten facing upwards. And again, the same with the top, you want to make sure this sits nice and flush on here, otherwise boxes aren't going to stack very well. So once you've got that happy where that is, flip the box onto its side, making sure everything's right and flush. And basically what we did with the runners, we're going to do down here again. So you can use 4 or 5 of our little nails to go through here. Do be careful this time, and I'll show you at the end, because there's a lip and you don't want to smack it and end up breaking the wood. Just double checking again that that inboard not in yet is still flush. And then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to just put one on either side this time because it's a smaller batter. There we go. So you can see there, you've got your top batten and your bottom with your bars. And you're going to repeat the same process on this side as well. This is now your assembled super. We've gone through all our steps, and it's the same again for the glue box, just you might add a few extra nails in because it's a bigger box. But once you're done, you can go over it and just check for bits like dried glue, so bits like this, just get damp cloth or a damp bit of blue roll, and we're just going to wipe it all off. It should come off nice and easy while it's still wet.